that just came out of this little, I don't know where they come from, but niggas be getting wild emotional. Niggas be turning into big super beasts. Just be trying to have.
Ever try to phone me? Hit you with no delay, so what you saying, yo? Should have with that 9 milli, what the devil, yo? Yeah, I can hit better than him. He better not play with me. I will and perform Busta Rhymes show.
Right?
Yeah.
I know he did you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time.
Walking through the crowd and somebody grabs my hand. Just softly put their hand in my hand and just holding it. So I look, you know, and I see this big chain that said flip mode. I look up and it's Busta Rhymes.
They call them fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta. Bro, Busta Rhymes wanted him in his section so bad. Like, what? Pulled him to the section, like through the rope, and tucked him off in the corner. So I'm looking like, well, he ain't come with us.
Busta Rhymes is reportedly losing it right now. And word is he's been threatening 50 Cent over some wild footage that's about to surface in 5th's upcoming Diddy documentary. Everyone knows 50's been stacking receipts on Diddy and those infamous FO parties for years. But now, Busta's name is getting dragged into the mess, and he's not happy about it. Insiders are whispering that there's actual video of Busta right there in the thick of it with Diddy. And that's just the start of the madness. A while back, Busta's former bodyguard, Big Homie, CC, came out swinging, claiming Busta had been into dudes for years and that it was no secret in the club scene. According to Big Homie, promoters were always lining up young men to chill with Busta in VIP when he rolled through. And now, rumors say 50's got real footage to back all that up. Allegedly, there's a clip from one of Diddy's private parties showing Busta and Diddy locked in a full-on freak fest with multiple men, and these guys are believed to be adult workers that Diddy flew in. This ain't just hearsay anymore. It's looking real bad. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Multiple men are now stepping up, claiming Busta made shady moves on them too. These dudes say every time they ran into him, he was trying to drag them into his wild party world.
I got to ask you, there has been so much going on in the music industry pertaining to Diddy. How closely are you paying attention to his case, the allegations?
I don't pay attention to none of it. I just kind of like to pay attention to the truth.
With 50 Cent at the wheel of this Netflix doc, it's looking like Busta's threats won't stop what's coming. This might just be the beginning of a full-blown takedown. Honestly, it's looking like Busta might have just booked himself a bigger part in 50's documentary without even trying. So what's really going down? Why is Busta suddenly spiraling? What kind of dirt does 50 Cent have on him that's got him acting out like this? Let's dig into it. With all the heat and rumors swirling around Busta Rhymes, 50 wasn't about to stay quiet. Right before they both hit the stage at the Humor and Harmony Comedy Fest, 50 was already clowning, especially since he thought Busta might pull up in something crazy like that infamous yellow outfit from the 1999 MTV VMAs. 50 even threw some shade online, posting a throwback of Busta in that wild yellow look, writing, "Busta cannot wear this to Humor and Harmony. Busta, I don't care who made that outfit, you better show up to Shreveport looking fresh." But Busta wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back with an AI-generated photo of 50 Cent looking all kinds of extra and captioned it, "I keep telling y'all, the blessings don't stop, so we ain't never gonna stop." I thought it was Father's Day. 50 Cent. And you out here looking like this? Don't let me find out this how you be in the mirror prepping your look for Shreveport. At first, it all looked like playful trolling between two legends, but now, with the way things are heating up, folks are starting to wonder if this back and forth was just the calm before the storm. Now, insiders are saying 50 Cent wasn't joking at all. He's got some wild footage of Busta and Diddy that could shake the whole game up. But before we get into that, we gotta rewind and talk about the serious claims tied to Busta's VIP behavior. So here's the deal. Busta's former bodyguard, Big Homie CC, recently sat down with the Art of Dialogue and did not hold back.
I've seen you talking about Busta Rhymes before.
Oh, yeah.
In some of your videos.
Oh, yeah. Super zest monster. For sure, bro. That's my thing, bro. Like, this been common knowledge, though. Like, all my promoter homies would always say, man, you know, we gotta bring some we gotta bring some, what they call them, I'm not gonna say it on here. They call them fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta. Cause you know, I bodyguarded for Ghostface before, you feel me? And being around him, you hear things, you feel me? I'm like, damn. And my auntie like the biggest Busta Rhymes fan, you feel me? Like, every cookout, she playing it. All his little fast rapping, all of that, him and Craig Mack playing it.
He straight up called Busta a super zest monster, claiming he's been acting real suspect around young men for years. That's a bold accusation. According to Big Homie, this wasn't even a secret.
Oh, if you in the mix, like I've been in the mix, you know.
In fact, folks in the club scene supposedly knew what was going on. Promoters allegedly had to prep for Busta's appearances by making sure his VIP section came with a certain type of entertainment. And no, we're not talking about bottle service. Big Homie even spilled tea on one night in particular, involving actor and model Don Benjamin and one of Don's friends, a gay man. He says the moment Busta laid eyes on that man, it was game over. Busta allegedly dragged him straight into VIP and, get this, wouldn't let him leave.
So, I hear somebody say, oh, he's cute, I want him. So when I heard that, I turned around like, man, did he just say that? You got all this jewelry to attract some men in here? You wild. Shocked me. But sure enough.
And that was the guy that Busta Rhymes pulled back?
Pulled him into the section. Pulled him into the section, and then they walled him off like this man. I'm like, damn. And that little dude was so happy, he couldn't believe that.
Big Homie claimed Busta was glued to the man the entire night, sticking close like it was personal. And apparently, this wasn't a one-time thing either. He said club promoters already had it mapped out. Anytime Busta pulled up, they had to line up the finest men for his section. Once he locked in on someone...
How long has it been like this known about Busta Rhymes?
Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
How come you think nobody else speaks up on it or says anything?
Because, bro, these people admire these people so much. They want to make sure they in the section, they at the club, they at the video shoot, they can get backstage. That matters most to them. That matters so much to people. It's crazy. Like, but if you notice, like, there's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls. This girl touched him one time, he go crazy, throw a drink on her and everything. See what I'm saying? Like, what? Why you getting mad at females? You go to these guys, they in the club, go to their section. It's all men in the section. That ain't weird to nobody. I'm going to the bar, sorry. Text me if it get dangerous. But there's all this club security in here, like nothing's finna happen. Nobody wanna kill you guys, bro. Like, when I get jobs from people who really got a threat on their life, I move way different. But man, you ask, bro, anybody that's in the mix, bro, like, you know, bro, most of these dudes, bro, putting on a major act. They don't wanna be themselves.
It's crazy.
They'll get mad at you for buying bottles of champagne to get a girl. They'll get mad, oh, we don't want these bottle rats in our section. What are we here for? Why are y'all here then? What are y'all here for? Just because y'all got booked to be here, okay, but sometimes they not booked. They just in there. So, and what they looking for, it ain't gonna be what you thinking of. On God, seen it.
That was it. Game over. And if what 50's sitting on matches these claims, this could get real messy, real fast. Big Homie didn't stop there. He claimed Busta was calling that man cute all night long and made sure once he got him in VIP, there was no leaving. Busta allegedly stayed on him the whole time like it was a done deal. But here's where things get even crazier.
New York City, you know, going to a club, it was Halloween weekend, you know, everybody was out. And it was this party we was going to, me, my boy, and his friend that had came in from Detroit. friend that had came in from Detroit. And I'm walking across the street and Busta Rhymes just grabbed my hand. And he holding my hand. Now I ain't know it was Busta at first. You know, Busta Rhymes tall. I'm sure I came up to about right here. So the first thing I noticed was this big flip mode chain that was blinding me. So I look at the chain and I'm like, and I look up, I'm like, oh, what's up, Busta? What's up? Now he holding my hand the whole time. I'm like, what's up, man? He like, what you doing? And I was like, oh, me and my people, we about to go to this club around the corner. What's up, man? You know, and then I noticed throughout my peripheral vision, the side eye, this big bodyguard in black. Just standing there, you know, looking around, you know, looked at me, you know, still looking around. Meanwhile, Busta still got my hand in his hand.
According to Big Homie, the industry's been well aware of Busta's real preferences for over a decade. When asked why nobody ever aired it out, Big Homie said it plain. Everybody wants to be in that VIP section with Busta. That access kept mouths shut. Then Big Homie dropped a bomb that barely anybody's talking about, Busta's alleged history of putting hands on women. And he hinted there might be a deeper reason behind it. He suggested that, like some men who stay on the down low, Busta might be harboring resentment toward women. And that's where things start getting dark.
Says, you know, I'm about to go in this club. You know, we got a section. You know, you can come in with me if you want. And I'm like, word, for real? Like, that's what's up. Like, he was like, yeah. I was like, well, I gotta, you know, tell my people. I was like, I come in. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, just let me know, you know, tell them that you coming in there to meet with me and come on up. And I was like, bet. So, of course, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes is one of my favorite artists of all time.
And if you're thinking this is just one ex-bodyguard talking wild for clout, think again. There's a whole lineup of men now stepping up with their own Busta stories. One of the first to speak out, social media personality Trip, way back in 2020. This ain't just noise anymore. It's starting to look like a pattern. Trip hit YouTube with a wild story, claiming Busta tried to scoop him up in NYC while he was on his way to a Halloween party. According to Trip, Busta personally invited him to the VIP section, and at first, he thought it was just a regular club vibe. Nothing too crazy, but things were about to flip real quick. Trip said everything went left when he got into a heated argument with his friend, who was not feeling the idea of pulling up to Busta's party. That argument got so out of hand, it turned into a full-blown fight in the middle of the street.
We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Wild, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you seen Busta in the airport too. Never from trying to act like he didn't know you. You smashed Drake?
No, I never smashed.
Oh, you made love to Drake.
What's that name? Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Usher. Usher's a gusher. And
why you not naming?
I'm telling you, bro. It's my dad's friends. My dad sent his baddest friends on me.
Who's your dad?
Lucifer.
Trip was so rattled, he ended up scrapping the whole plan and didn't even make it to the club. His friend was acting wild and ended up ditching him, left him stranded right there in the middle of New York City. But looking back, Trip said that might have been a straight-up blessing in disguise, because who knows what might have gone down if he had actually stepped into Busta's VIP that night. Then boom! Fast forward to 2021, and the rumors started flying again. Word on the street was that Busta was back outside, allegedly trying to pick up dudes again. And to add even more fuel to the drama, paparazzi supposedly
called Quiet on Set.
I never had to work for Nickelodeon. I work for Disney. We don't do those things.
Oh man, not the exhale.
Well, shout out to Nick Cannon. I won't do his money like that. What I will do is I'll say that the owner of Nickelodeon is Jeffrey Epstein. The guy that they've been trying to follow. And okay, now look at the characteristics of everything they said, and then look at everything that he did. I'm not gonna do that to Nick's money though. That's my brother. Like,
caught him leaving a gay pride event with a trans woman. And if that wasn't enough, Orlando Brown came through and broke the internet again, claiming he hooked up with multiple industry men. It's getting way too messy out here. It ain't just Diddy caught up in this mess. Busta's name is getting tossed around too, along with a whole list of other industry heavyweights. Now look, a lot of folks don't take Orlando Brown too seriously when he starts going off on one of his rants. But lately, in some of his newer interviews, he's been sounding way more clear-headed. And if you really listen, some of the stuff he's saying is actually starting to line up. Now, the rumors about Busta possibly being on the DL, that's one thing. But what folks really need to be talking about is the pattern of aggression he's been showing for years. Just like Diddy, Busta's got a long list of shady run-ins. And it's not just club drama or gossip, we're talking legal trouble too. It all goes back to 2006 when Busta got tangled in a wild situation with a random person on the street. Prosecutors tried to hit him with a weapons charge, and according to Billboard, they said he had a whole machete stashed in his car. A machete! Who rides around like that? Then in 2007, he was back in the headlines again. This time arrested for allegedly putting hands on his former driver during an argument over money. He ended up pleading guilty to both cases and landed 3 years of probation. But even with that, the chaos didn't slow down one bit. Back in 2009, the New York Post dropped a bomb. Busta had to cough up $75,000 to a fan who said things got real violent at one of his shows. According to the fan, all he did was try to leave Busta's set early and got attacked for it. The guy said he pulled up hoping to see Fabulous, but when Fab didn't show, he stood up to dip out while Busta was still performing. That's when Busta allegedly snapped, yelling, "Get down! I'm not good enough for you!" Then launched 2 water bottles at the man before reportedly having his bodyguard punch him in the face. Like, what? With a temper like that, it's honestly no shock he's been tight with Diddy since the 90s. But it's not just their matching anger problems. They're raise eyebrows. People are now saying they might share something else too, a preference for much younger men. And Busta's whole vibe around this Diddy situation, it's got folks side-eyeing hard. Because when those serious allegations against Diddy first started surfacing, Busta was quick to jump out and tell fans to hold off on judging and let the facts come out. But why say that at all unless you're low-key defending somebody? Especially when we're talking about serious claims, DVSA, multiple victims, and reports involving younger individuals. Telling people to mind their business in a moment like that, it doesn't just sound tone deaf. It makes you look real shady.
There has been so much going on in the music industry pertaining to Diddy. How closely are you paying attention to his case, the allegations?
I don't pay attention to none of it. I just kind of like to pay attention to the truth. I don't really like to speak on situations that I'm not well versed in, and that's not really my situation. You know what I'm saying? But I wish the best for everyone involved. God bless everyone involved. And, you know, I think that we should all kind of be a little more mindful of how much we speak on other things when it's as sensitive as this. People don't keep in mind the effect of what their opinion can have. And I think it's really, really important that we reserve our opinions until we understand what the undisputed truth is.
Have you had the chance to speak to Diddy?
I spoke to him a few times before, like, it got a little out of control. A lot of the times when people are going through things, You gotta respect the space and the privacy that they need to process how they're gonna deal with the things that they're going through. I just wanna see the right end result for everyone.
Now, fast forward to today. The Diddy scandal has completely blown up. We're talking federal raids, multiple lawsuits, and now an official indictment. And suddenly, Busta's out here acting like he don't even know Diddy. He's been dodging questions left and right, playing the clueless role, but let's be real, he can't run from this for much longer. Word on the street is that 50 Cent's upcoming Diddy documentary is about to start naming names. And yes, Busta Rhymes is allegedly on that list. And if there's one thing we all know about 50, he never forgets. Ever. He's one of the few rappers who straight up refused to party with Diddy. Like, from day one, he saw through all that shady energy happening behind the scenes. But here's the thing about 50. He plays the long game. Just because he wasn't in the room doesn't mean he didn't know what was going on. Nah, he was sitting back, watching every move, clocking every rapper who kept saying yes to those invites. And now, it's showtime! 50's finally ready to unload what he's been holding on to for years. Sources say this documentary isn't just going to shake things up. It's about to be the industry's worst nightmare. No one's safe, and if Busta's name really gets dropped, it's game over. The street's been buzzing for years about certain rappers who allegedly got real wild with Diddy behind closed doors, and insiders say Busta Rhymes' name is definitely on that list. Now, we still don't have an official drop date for 50 Cent's documentary, but here's what we do know. It's coming through G-Unit Films and Television Inc., and it's set to premiere on Netflix. And this ain't no low-budget gossip reel either. It's being directed by Alex Stapleton, an Emmy award-winning filmmaker and executive producer. So yeah, this is gonna be straight-up high-quality, raw, no-holds-barred storytelling.
He did it. You've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing. I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You go to the 90s and Keefy D said he paid him to Tupac.
Yeah.
It's a little, like, you get the craziest accusations. You had TMZ created a docuseries that went to Tubi, but the series is...
But here's where it gets real messy. Busta already knows what's coming. Sources close to him are saying he's been scrambling behind the scenes, trying to pull strings and make calls to get ahead of the storm. Word is, he even sent out a warning to 50, telling him to keep his name out of the documentary. But if 50's as locked in as we know he is, Busta's plea might have come way too late. But let's keep it real. Busta's little warning probably just made 50 go even harder. And if you know anything about 50 Cent, you already know. The moment you try to shut him up, he turns up the pressure 10 times more. The man lives for proving a point. So if Busta is on that list, there's no way 50's cutting him out now. It's already locked in. Now here's the real question. What's Busta so stressed about? If there's nothing to hide, why not just brush it off and move on? Why all the behind-the-scenes panic? So what do you think? Is Busta really tied up in Diddy's mess? Or is his name just getting thrown around to stir the pot? And most importantly, is 50 Cent's documentary about to flip the entire industry on its head? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. And yo, if you made it this far, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.
Also has a baby mother who's currently working as a call girl. He has a daughter by bro.
Kick Rick Ross ass, right?
Deciding to your life up. Rick, bro, I'm gonna your life up.
Rick Ross spent years acting like he couldn't be touched, but his baby mama just exposed the real reason he's been watching his back when it comes to 50 Cent. And trust, it's way worse than anyone imagined. The same man who built his empire on being a boss? Turns out, there's one enemy he can't shake, no matter how much money or power he flaunts. And when Ross finally fired back, it wasn't just about ego, it was about survival. See, the way 50 Cent came for Ross would make anyone wonder how he even managed to keep his crown. And, believe it or not, it all started with something as small as a look. Yeah, you heard that right. A single glance at the 2008 BET Awards lit the fuse on a war that would spiral into something way bigger. Now, 50? He had no idea what was even happening. He later brushed it off, saying he didn't even remember seeing Ross that night.
They've had a long-standing beef for years. And I think this Rick Ross beef is the one beef that 50 will never let go.
But Ross? Oh, he took that as disrespect. And in hip-hop, disrespect means war. At the time, Rick Ross was sitting on top of the game. Platinum albums, fame, power, the whole package. He was untouchable, or so he thought. But the moment Rick Ross locked eyes with 50 Cent at the BET Awards, something inside him snapped. Maybe it was paranoia, maybe it was a calculated move for clout. Whatever it was, he made a decision that would change his career forever. He set his sights on one of the most ruthless figures in hip-hop history. The problem? 50 Cent didn't even remember seeing him that night. That's how insignificant the moment was for 50. But Ross? He took that as a personal insult and used it as the perfect excuse to launch a full-scale attack. Whether it was for beef, attention, or a shot at dominance, Ross saw an opening to stir the pot and tie his name to one of rap's biggest heavyweights. But what he didn't realize, he wasn't just poking the bear, he was picking a fight with a savage. Ross didn't just throw a little shade in an interview, he went straight for the jugular. He came out swinging with mafia music.
Anything about Ross and his career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with him.
And what happened next? 50 Cent went nuclear. On Mafia Music, Rick Ross didn't just take shots, he crossed a dangerous line. He made a not-so-subtle reference to the house fire that nearly took out 50 Cent's baby mama and their son. At first, it might have sounded like just another rap flex, but everyone knew what Ross was really implying. He was stirring up a dark chapter in 50's life, one where Shaniqua Tompkins, 50's ex, publicly accused him of setting the fire that burned their house to the ground while 6 people were inside. It was a serious accusation, and Ross used it as ammo to get under 50's skin. And guess what? It worked. Ross milked the controversy for all it was worth, throwing out bold claims about being the new king of hip-hop, acting like he'd already won the war before it even started. But if there's one thing 50 Cent does better than anyone...
You won about 50%, but also it is a man's pettiness is uncanny. Like this, I feel is everybody's ultimate.
It's turning rap beef into all-out personal destruction. See, 50 wasn't just about to fire back with a diss track, he was about to dismantle Rick Ross's entire public persona. So he started digging. And what he found changed everything. 50 Cent blew Rick Ross's entire image to pieces with one brutal revelation. Ross had a past as a correctional officer. The man who built his empire on being a street-certified kingpin.
It's embarrassing to me, you know, because as you listen to his raps, you would definitely believe him, but I mean, it was surprising that he would sit there and say he spends $200 a month on food, $300 a month on clothes, his jury is rent.
Turns out he wasn't running the game, he was working for the system. And 50 had receipts. Photos of Ross in his correctional officer uniform hit the internet like an explosion, spreading faster than Ross could even try to deny them. The same man who rapped about moving weight, 50 made sure the world knew he was really pushing prison paperwork instead. But he didn't stop there. He went for the kill shot. He tracked down Rick Ross's own baby mama, Kemp. And let's just say, she didn't hold back. Sitting down with 50, she aired out every humiliating truth about Ross's real life. According to her, Ross wasn't the boss he claimed to be. He was faking the whole thing. She exposed how he was leasing his luxury cars, renting jewelry, and living a lifestyle that was nowhere near the lavish empire he rapped about.
You don't know where the money came from to put a down payment on a $1 million home. And you know, it's just sad, you know, and I just want to prove the facts today here on This Is 50. It's all real. I'm coming from
As a baby mother who's currently working as a call girl. He has a daughter by Brooke, right there. Can you see that? This is like the adult. This is like where you can find really exclusive whores.
Step down from the position. And I asked him about it. You know, of course he denied it, which his sister confirmed it and told me that he was a correction officer. And, you know.
But the most damning part? Tia confirmed it all. The officer rumors, true. And just like that, the world saw Rick Ross in a whole new light. And where was Rick Ross? Silent. There was nothing he could do to erase the damage. The internet had already run wild with the truth, and 50 had just pulled off one of the most ruthless moves in hip-hop beef history. Ross's entire persona had been shattered, and it looked like there was no coming back. But then, 50 made a mistake. He took things too far when he leaked a sex tape featuring another one of Ross's baby mamas, Lastonia Leviston. It was a bold move, but this time it backfired badly. Lastonia sued him for emotional distress and walked away with a $5 million payout. That lawsuit hit 50 hard, so hard that he had to file for bankruptcy. For the first time in this brutal war, 50 Cent actually took an L. And Rick Ross? He just kept dropping music, acting like none of this even fazed him. And surprisingly, the fans, they didn't care that much anymore about the whole Officer Ricky situation. Fast forward, and just when everyone thought this beef had finally died down, Tia Kemp jumped back into the mix. She hopped on Instagram Live and made one thing very clear. Rick Ross is still scared of 50 Cent. Why? Because 50 knows too much. Tia didn't hold back at all. She claimed Rick Ross had deep, dark secrets he was desperate to keep buried. And the way she was talking, it sounded like Ross might be tangled up in something way bigger than just rap beef. But things got even messier when some throwback Tia flicks resurfaced, specifically her 2009 Smooth magazine cover shoot. Now, baby mama thirst traps are nothing new, but this one was different because it wasn't just about the pose. It was about who was behind the camera. There she was, Rick Ross's baby mama, draped in nothing but lacy black panties, a sparkly sheer top, and bright red heels, while 50 Cent, yes, Ross's biggest enemy, was laid out on the floor. Playing photographer like this was some personal art project. The whole setup was shady, but the real dagger? Smooth magazine's headline, "Where's the beef?" Guest editor 50 Cent introduces Rick Ross's baby mama, Tia. Not only did 50 help Tia secure a magazine cover, but he made sure Ross knew exactly who was behind it. Pure, petty, genius. Fast forward to today, and the shots still haven't stopped. The latest chapter, Rick Ross linking up with Big Meech after his prison release, a move that set 50 Cent off. Why? Because 50 is the executive producer of the BMF TV series, and seeing Ross cozy up to Big Meech felt like the ultimate betrayal. And of course, 50 didn't let it slide. He hopped on Instagram with a giant rat meme and a caption that said it all, "I think I'm Big Meech." But that wasn't even the worst part. In the caption, 50 Cent didn't just call Ross out. He took aim at Big Meech himself, saying Meech made the biggest mistake of his life by cutting ties with one key person, Tammy Cowens. Now, if you're wondering, Who the hell is Tammy? Trust, you're not alone. Tammy was Meech's assistant and business partner back in the day. But here's the plot twist. She allegedly flipped and became an FBI informant. That's right, Meech's own inner circle was compromised, and 50 made sure the world knew exactly what went down. And just in case the drama wasn't messy enough, Rick Ross jumped in, laughing at how pressed 50 was over Meech posing for a picture with him. The back and forth between 50 and Ross has been endless, but there's one person who seems to enjoy clowning Ross just as much as 50 does, Tia Kemp. And this time, she dragged Ross into something even bigger. Tia threw Ross straight into the fire, linking his name to Diddy's freak-off party scandal, the same shady dealings that got Diddy slapped with federal trafficking charges. She even called him out, saying he was right in the mix with the same wild activities that have the industry talking nonstop. Her exact words, like them effing Diddy doula.
Nigga took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a nigga, put your back against the wall and just slide down.
And just like that, Rick Ross's name was back in the headlines. But this time, for all the wrong reasons. Tia didn't hold back, at all.
Diddy doula parties! I'm in this, that's another thing. When is we gonna see you over there with Sean Kiko?
She straight up told Rick Ross to check on his buddy, throwing major shade at their past wild parties and that bizarre social media bromance they had. And let's be real, this wasn't the first time she put him on blast.
Give dog a fucking hug like I said. He was on his nuts. All that fucking year, you and Callie, big fat Callie, your fat ass go out there cut your yard trying to go viral like Will with no shoes on. Boy, we know goddamn you ain't cutting nothing but a fucking tomahawk.
Tia had already hit Instagram Live, clowning Ross for staying dead silent about Diddy's scandal. But this time, she wasn't just ranting, she came with receipts, and she wasn't afraid to name drop. Then things got real messy. Tia took it even further, claiming Ross himself wasn't just partying, he was allegedly putting hits on people. And if that wasn't enough, she hinted at her next move, blowing the whistle and sending federal authorities straight to his doorstep. But then, things went pitch black. Tia brought up something that stunned everyone. A murder. She dropped a name that had fans shook. Miss Carroll. The way she said it, she made it very clear that Rick Ross might have had some kind of connection to this tragic death. And just like that, the drama hit a whole new level. If you're wondering who Ms. Carroll is, Tia Kemp didn't just drop the name, she dropped a bomb. She claimed Ms. Carroll was murdered right after leaving her mother's house, and somehow the whole situation was tied back to Rick Ross and his crew.
Like this tea right here. Renee says you want to stay keeping up. We finna talk about some real.
But that wasn't all. Tia also referenced another man who was shot right in front of Black House, yet another eerie connection to Ross's inner circle. The way she was talking, she made it seem like these weren't just random incidents. She was drawing a line straight to Ross. And then Tia took the drama to a whole new platform. On an episode of Carisha Please, she spilled even more tea, but this time, it wasn't just about street rumors. First things first, she had some family business to air out. Tia has been dealing with co-parenting drama with Rick Ross for 18 years, and at this point, she's exhausted. Imagine trying to raise a kid while the other parent keeps pulling a disappearing act, only to pop back up. Like, it's some twisted game of peekaboo. Tia's had enough, and she's not just here for the headlines. She's laying it all out. The family mess, the dirty laundry, and every receipt she's been holding on to for years. And if that wasn't wild enough, she claims Ross has even more kids out here. So many, he can't even keep count. Tia didn't hold back, again. She dropped some heavy hints that Rick Ross has some serious skeletons in his closet, stuff he's been keeping on the low for years. Like, for example, how about the fact that he has a child with a Russian woman? But this isn't just about Ross being a dad. According to Tia, it's about the way he moves, more focused on flexing his power and feeding his ego than actually stepping up for his kids. She told Young Miami about the time Ross tried to send their son off to some random college in Mississippi, not because it was a good fit, but just because he could. But things got even more heartbreaking when Tia opened up about the pain of raising a child in the public eye. Her son is at an HBCU now, but she painted a gut-wrenching picture of him having to explain to his classmates why his own father didn't show up to his high school graduation. This is a kid who grew up with his dad cheering him on at football games, but when it came to one of the biggest milestones of his life, his father was nowhere to be found. Tia wasn't shy at all about how much this hurt her and her son. But what frustrates her even more? The way Rick Ross seems to use their son as a pawn in their never-ending drama. And if you think her issues with Ross are messy, wait until you hear about his sister, Renee. Because Tia has a whole separate beef with her too. Apparently, Renee has been meddling in Ross and Tia's business since day one. And Tia is done with it. She made it crystal clear that she has zero respect for Renee and wasn't afraid to say why. And just when you thought things couldn't get any more chaotic, Tia also brought up an altercation she had with one of Ross's other baby mamas. This isn't just about a co-parenting war anymore. This is years of tension, secrets, and bad blood finally spilling out. Tia got real about the pressure she's faced over the years to keep quiet, to keep the peace, to let things slide. But after 18 years, she's done staying silent. And just when you thought this saga couldn't get any wilder, Rick Ross tried to shut Tia up for good. He hit her with cease and desist letters, threatening legal action if she didn't stop talking. But Tia, she doesn't care. She straight up told Ross to take his legal threats and shove them. She's not backing down, and at this point, Ross's damage control wasn't working. Because the internet was already connecting the dots, and let's just say, it was looking real bad for him. People started asking the real questions. Was there more to Rick Ross's past than we ever knew? Was he hiding something even darker? Did 50 Cent actually win this war? Or did Ross somehow survive all the humiliation? And the biggest question, why is Rick Ross still scared of 50 Cent? This story just keeps getting crazier, and you do not want to miss what happens next. So smash that subscribe button. Don't just tap it, hit it hard so you never miss out on the next explosive update. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, hit that like button, and share this with someone who needs to see it. And trust me, you'll want to be here for the next one. See you in the next video.
Never folded, never told, never will. Death before the sun.
Be disappointed when little baby don't show up, when Skilla don't show up, when Vizzo don't show up, and all these show up.
Big Meech thought he was making a major power move by locking in with Rick Ross. But now, he's getting a brutal reality check. Loyalty in the industry. A complete illusion. He turned his back on 50 Cent, betting on Ross to hold him down. But the second he stepped out of prison, all he found was betrayal waiting on the other side. At first, Ross was showering Meech with love, promising to put him back in position, talking about real ones sticking together.
Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
But the moment things didn't go as planned, Ross wiped his hands clean, cut ties like Meech was nothing, and guess what? He went running right back to his so-called enemy, 50 Cent. Now, Meech is standing in the cold, realizing the game ain't what it used to be. The codes? Shattered. The alliances? Fake. The man he thought was in his corner flipped on him like it was nothing.
Never folded, never told, never will. Death before the sun.
But why did Ross switch sides so fast? And was this all part of a bigger chess move by 50 Cent? Oh, it gets deeper than you think. This ain't just a case of backstabbing. This is strategic, and somebody's playing puppet master behind the scenes. Meech is learning the hard way that in this world, what goes around really does come back around. And when it does, it ain't always pretty. Meech spent years locked up, counting down the days until his big comeback. He thought he was about to reclaim his throne. But instead, he's stranded with nobody in his corner. The man he turned his back on, 50 Cent, is sitting on top, eating off the BMF brand like a king. Meanwhile, the one he ran to, Rick Ross? He's acting like he never even knew Meech existed. But here's where it gets real messy. Rick Ross wasn't just some industry friend, he played Meech like a fiddle, whispering in his ear, pushing him to cut ties with 50, making it seem like he had a better plan for him. But in reality, Ross might have just handed 50 the biggest win ever. Because let's be real, if Meech was so quick to turn his back on 50 after everything 50 did to keep the BMF name alive with that hit TV show, then maybe Meech was never as solid as people thought. Maybe he exposed himself. And now, the streets are talking. Word is, Meech is scrambling, searching for someone to blame after his legacy concert flopped, after nobody came rushing in to save him from this downfall.
2 days away from the Big Meech concert. Get your tickets right now. Make sure everybody flying to the city for this. It's gonna be huge.
And guess who he's pointing the finger at? The same man who hyped him up and left him stranded, Rick Ross.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Because if you really look at the situation, Meech was nothing but a pawn in Ross's little power game. Ross didn't want to help Meech. He wanted to play him. The real goal? Humiliate 50 Cent and steal the entire BMF legacy for himself. And now, with Meech left out in the cold, Ross is nowhere to be found. Cold game. The moment things got messy, Ross vanished. Gone like he was never part of the plan. He left Meech hanging. No lifeline, no backup, just cold betrayal. And now, Meech is out here trying to play the victim, acting like he got done dirty. But let's be real. He played himself. And if there's one thing the streets never forgive, it's a man who flips sides the second someone flashes a little cash. That's a bad look. But how deep does this backstab really go? And the real question is 50 Cent sitting back watching this whole mess with a smirk, knowing he just dodged a snake without even lifting a finger? Because trust and believe, the streets are talking in the whisper, and the whispers are getting loud.
I'll be disappointed when little baby don't show up.
Let's be honest, why would 50 even need to get his hands dirty when Meech was already doing a perfect job of self-destruction? The snitching rumors had been floating around for years. The concert wasn't giving legendary comeback. It was giving desperation. And if there's one thing 50 knows how to do better than anyone, it's sit enemies dig their own graves. No effort needed. Just 2 hours before showtime, the Ameritbank Arena pulled the plug out of nowhere. No buildup, no warning, just a cold, blunt statement. Due to unforeseen circumstances, tonight's show has been canceled. Refunds will be made at point of purchase.
Before this giant welcome home concert
I told you it
was
gonna
canceled.
What'd I tell you?
The bill was
What did
insane.
I say?
The list of artists on it was...
That's it. No explanation, no second chances, just straight up embarrassment for Meech. And guess who was sitting back, watching it all fall apart, like he had already seen the ending to this movie? 50 Cent. Before the concert was even announced, 50 was out here telling anybody who would listen, this show will never happen. And now that the whole thing crashed and burned right on cue, he's doing what he does best. Being the pettiest villain in the game. He wasted no time rubbing salt in the wound, posting that canceled flyer like it was a platinum plaque. And the caption? Slick as ever. He hit him with the line that might as well have come with a cigar and a gold chain. I had nothing to do with this. Yeah, right. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am. Sounds heartfelt, right? Like 50 Cent was sending love and light? Yeah, right. If you believe that, he's got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Because one thing about 50, he never outright denies anything. He just makes sure everybody knows he's always 2 steps ahead. And then just to twist the knife a little deeper, he hopped back on Instagram playing the fake apology game. If you bought an outfit and was ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible. Let's get to that. Come on now, that is pure villain mode. The man is out here giving damage control with a smirk, knowing exactly what he did. But the real dagger? The final nail in the coffin? That came when a fan straight up accused him of shutting the whole event down. 50 didn't dodge, he didn't backtrack, he doubled down. He reposted the comment and hit him with another slick one. I apologize for your trip to Miami, but been playing with me, so, let's build when y'all get back to the city. At this point, 50 ain't even playing the same game as everybody else. While folks are still trying to figure out how to roll the dice, he's 10 moves ahead, playing chess. And Meech? He's out here scrambling, looking for anybody to blame. But the truth? He did this to himself. Rick Ross set him up, 50 washed his hands, and now Meech is standing alone. No legacy concert, no allies, and nobody left to clean up the mess. At the end of the day, Big Meech is standing with nothing in his hands. Yeah, he's out of prison, but what does he really have left? Nothing. No more support, no more loyalty, and definitely no backing for his family. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, the main breadwinner, Lil Meech, just lost his job. Lil Meech tried to play the loyalty card with 50 Cent, hoping it would keep the concert alive. But guess what? That move flopped. And now the fallout is real because season 4 of BMF has officially been canceled. And it's crystal clear why. 50 Cent just threw gasoline on the fire by exposing Lil Meech's private text messages for the world to see. And let's just say, those texts, they said a lot more than Lil Meech probably intended. In the messages, Lil Meech is practically begging for 50's approval, claiming he'd give him the shirt off his back. But here's where it gets wild. While he's saying all that, he's also defending his father's ties to Rick Ross. But the biggest bombshell? Lil Meech flat out admitted that Rick Ross was the one covering Big Meech's bills until the next season of BMF was supposed to start. And then came the shade. Lil Meech hit 50 with, "They just told me you unfollowed me on Instagram, and now you managing Skillababy with Rocket when I brought him around you first when you didn't have a clue who he was." This ain't just drama. This is full-blown industry warfare. 50's got the upper hand, Meech is scrambling, and Ross, well, he might have played his cards a little too well. Now you mad at me? When I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man! You act like I'm your enemy when all I ever showed you was love and loyalty. I go through my own problems, but I never switched up on you. Ross. But yeah, he gave my pops some bread so he could pay his bills until our next season starts. Star. That's the message that got everybody talking. Big Meech didn't just align himself with 50 Cent's biggest rival, he's now financially dependent on Rick Ross. And if you think Ross ain't using that to his advantage, think again. Behind the scenes, he's pulling strings, keeping Meech close while driving an even bigger wedge between him and 50. And it's not just 50 watching this play out. The game had to chime in, and he did not hold back. He called out Lil Meech for not riding harder for his father, saying he should have stood 10 toes behind the BMF legacy, no matter what. Just seen a text from Lil Meech to 50 that got me dying. "Hey, Lil Meech, you were supposed to be like, F you, this is BMF, and I'm standing with my pops. Now me and Fifth got our own issues, but that's on pause while I post this." Then 50 came through with the knockout punch, clowning Lil Meech with, "What's your little ass gonna do?" The game saw that and nearly spit his water out. Then he hit Meech with some real talk. What happened to Gangsta Man?
I can't believe a stand-up dude doing his time would suddenly say, "I don't want to be here no more. I'm gonna become a rat."
Big Meech, you can't let 50 get at you like that. At this point, 50 ain't even throwing punches. He's just watching as his enemy destroys himself. What started as snitching rumors has turned into something way bigger. Big Meech ain't looking like the boss he once was. He's looking like a pawn in his own legacy. And right now, Rick Ross is the one pulling the strings while 50 Cent just sits back, watching the whole thing fall apart. Like, the BMF legacy is falling apart, and 50 Cent? He's just sitting back, letting the whole thing crash and burn. No interference necessary. Everybody saw this downfall coming a mile away. Except for the Meeches. Lil Meech, the one person who was supposed to carry on the BMF name, has officially turned against the very man who built his career, gave him a platform, and held him down while his father was locked up. Instead of standing firm and protecting the brand, he's now stuck in the middle of a war he could have easily avoided. And 50? He's not holding back at all. He's going straight for Big Meech's parenting, calling him out for the way he handled Lil Meech's future. And if that wasn't enough, a resurfaced social media post just made things even messier. Old footage popped back up of Lil Meech with Rick Ross's daughter, Toei Roberts, a situation that goes way back. And you already know 50 wasted zero time throwing in his 2 cents. He openly questioned why Rick Ross, who is suddenly so invested in Big Meech now, never once stepped up to help Lil Meech when it actually mattered. 50 laid it all out, exposing the fact that Ross and everybody surrounding Big Meech did absolutely nothing for Lil Meech's future. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was the one who put his money where his mouth was. He's the one who paid for Lil Meech to go to acting school. He's the one who gave him the role of a lifetime in the BMF series. And now, Lil Meech is standing on shaky ground, caught between loyalty and bad decisions, while 50 sits back watching the dominoes fall exactly how he said they would. 50 Cent didn't hold back. He went straight for Meech's priorities. Instead of making sure his own son was set up for success, Meech came home playing the role, acting like some kind of black Pablo Escobar, and in the process, he ruined everything for Lil Meech. This ain't just a rap feud anymore, this is a full-blown betrayal. Big Meech once had 50 solidly in his corner, but the second he made that one bad choice, he pushed himself into complete isolation. And now, there's no coming back from this. But here's the thing, 50 Cent never forgets. Never. And he's making it very clear that Meech's mistakes will not be overlooked. But the real kicker? This beef with Ross just adds another level of chaos to the situation. Their bad blood goes way back to 2008. Diss tracks, legal battles, real tension. And let's not forget that infamous lawsuit that cost 50 a cool $7 million. Ross thought he won that round, but history has proven one thing. 50 never lets anything slide. And now, Gene Deal is stepping in, adding even more heat to the fire. This ain't just personal drama, this is business. Because word on the street, this might be the final season of BMF. The same show that's tied to 50's $150 million deal with Stars. Now, this ain't just a battle of egos anymore. This is real money, real power, and real repercussions. If this deal collapses, things could take a whole new turn. For most people, walking away from a deal worth millions would be a huge loss. But 50 Cent? He plays the long game. If he built it once, he'll build it again. Because one thing about Fifth, once you cross him, there's no coming back. And this is where things start looking real shady. Because let's be honest, 50 didn't just pull those snitching allegations out of thin air. The whispers about Big Meech cutting a deal with the feds, they've been floating around for years. Long before 50 exposed him, the streets were already questioning if Meech had flipped. And at the center of it all, Tammy Cowens. She wasn't just some random woman in Meech's circle. She was someone he considered a close friend. But here's the twist. Tammy was also a federal informant. Allegedly, she was the one who helped Meech negotiate the deal that got years shaved off his sentence. But let's not kid ourselves. Meech wasn't walking out of prison early without giving the feds something major in return. And that something might have been his own longtime friend and business partner, Dion Cuffy Gatling. Cuffy and Meech go way back. They had been running business together for years, long before Meech got locked up. But when Cuffy's family found out the truth, that Meech might have been the one to set him up. They were blindsided. According to Cuffy's daughter, Tamara Gatling, the betrayal hit their family out of nowhere. And now, with all this coming to light, the question ain't just about loyalty anymore. It's about who's really been playing who in this game. The pieces of the puzzle didn't come together until it was too late. The moment the confidential informants were identified in the case, one name kept popping up in the paperwork: Big Meech. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, it does. See, Meech wasn't just caught up in the drama, he was orchestrating it. To keep things looking legit, Meech himself connected Cuffy with Tammy Cowens. And let's be clear, Tammy wasn't just some business associate, she was his power of attorney. The woman who literally owned the rights to his entire life story at the time. Cuffy, trusting his longtime friend, thought he was stepping into an opportunity that would put him in position. But instead, he ended up behind bars. Then, as the discovery documents started rolling in, the truth became crystal clear. CS1, the confidential informant who helped take Cuffy down, that was Tammy Cowens. But here's the part nobody can ignore. Tammy didn't move without Meech's blessing. So when the Gatling family pressed Meech for answers, thinking this had to be some big misunderstanding, how did Meech respond? He brushed them off like it was nothing. But the deeper they dug, the uglier it got. Tammy may have been the one wearing the wire, but nobody believes she was operating behind Meech's back. Not a chance. And in the end, Cuffy took the fall, while Meech walked free. So all that talk about brotherhood, about being solid, that didn't mean a damn thing when the feds came knocking. And yet, despite all the evidence, there are still people out here bending over backwards to defend Big Meech. Right on cue, Young Buck jumped into the conversation, caping for Meech like this was his last shot at staying relevant. One thing about 50 Cent, he does not do second chances. Once you cross him, it's over. And his response? Straight up ruthless. The moment Young Buck tried to cape for Big Meech, 50 went straight for his neck. Wasting no time, he dragged Buck for all his past controversies, making sure the internet had something to talk about. And just like that, the haters came flooding in. People started accusing 50 of being a culture vulture, claiming he was just stirring up drama to sabotage promotions. But let's be real, if you actually break it down, who's really benefiting from all this mess? Because if we're talking money, both sides have cashed in on the BMF name. Big Meech's entire life story got turned into a hit TV series, cementing his legacy for a whole new generation. And Lil Meech, his entire career wouldn't even exist without 50 Cent backing him. Yet somehow, 50 is the one catching heat for telling the truth. Make it make sense! At the core of this entire situation, it's not about clout, it's not about promotions, it's about one thing: loyalty. And if there's anyone in this game who doesn't tolerate betrayal, it's 50 Cent. He stood by the BMF family. He gave Lil Meech a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He helped him become something more than just Big Meech's son. And what did Meech Jr. do the second it was convenient? He switched up. Now 50's making it crystal clear there's no coming back from that. And guess what? Lil Meech is already feeling it. Badly. After everything 50 did, putting him on, paying for his acting school, giving him a career while his father was locked up, Meech Jr. still flipped sides. And now, he's paying the price. How bad is it? The same Lil Meech, who was out here living the high life on the BMF set, is now out here begging for paid promotions for $500. That's not even rent money. That's pocket change compared to the fat checks 50 was cutting him. 1 minute, he's Hollywood royalty. The next, he's scrambling for side hustles just trying to keep up. And all because he fumbled the biggest bag of his life. And you already know, 50 Cent ain't letting this slide. If there's one thing about 50, it's that he's always gonna get the last laugh. This ain't just a simple rap feud. This is turning into one of the messiest betrayals in hip-hop history. Big Meech built his entire legacy on loyalty. He thought that's what mattered most. But now, the same people he trusted have been playing both sides all along, and just look at how things are falling apart. Rick Ross? First, he was Meech's guy. Now he's getting cozy with 50 Cent like nothing ever happened. Lil Meech? Went from being the face of BMF to hustling for pennies, trying to book paid promos for $500 just to keep his pockets full. And BMF? The empire Meech built? It's crumbling right before our eyes. So now the real question is, did Big Meech do this to himself by flipping on his own people? Or is 50 Cent just exposing the truth that everybody else was too scared to say out loud? Let's hear what y'all think. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation ain't over yet. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for all the latest tea, and share this with your people so they don't miss out on the drama. Because trust me, this story is far from over. Stay locked in, and I'll see y'all in the next video.
But for my birthday, he filled my entire house with my favorite flowers, which were Casablancas and gardenias.
He's very romantic, and he's like a big teddy bear. Yeah. And see, I know that side of him, and he's very sweet and very kind and gives the best hugs.
Now let's talk about, he's 10 years younger than you are.
11.
11 years younger than you are. And you've said that energizes you.
Yeah, definitely makes me happy. Keeps a pep in my step for sure.
50 Cent just can't let go when it comes to Vivica Fox. This man popped off again. This time throwing shade at her for getting a little BBL at nearly 60. Vivica's fresh look had social media in a chokehold for days. And like clockwork, whenever she starts trending, guess who shows up? Yup, 50. At first, he had folks fooled, acting like he was feeling her new curves. People even started whispering that he might be thinking about circling back to his old flame. But that didn't last long, because out of nowhere, he flipped the script. 50 started going in, saying her surgery left her looking botched and claiming she wasn't gonna land another man. Wild, right? But here's the thing. Vivica doesn't take shots without firing back. And baby, she snapped back hard. Not only did she defend herself, but she also hit him with some serious claims, saying 50's on the low and wouldn't even recognize a real woman if she smacked him in the face. Now the drama's officially off the charts. These two old flames are back in the headlines, and it's messy. Vivica's decision to get her body done had everybody doing a double take. It definitely caught folks off guard. But let's be real, she's a grown woman, and it's her body, her rules. This back and forth between them, it's looking like a whole soap opera playing out in real time. Vivica's always been that girl. Foreign vibes, flawless style, and a body that's been on point for decades. That's why her new look caught everyone off guard. It came out of nowhere. But let's be real. Folks have been talking slick about her body these past few years, and honestly, it makes zero sense. Some people have been throwing shade, saying she looks different now compared to her prime movie days, especially bringing up Kill Bill, which dropped way back in 2003. Like, seriously? That was over 20 years ago. Bodies change. She filmed that when she was in her mid-30s. Now she's pushing 61. Of course she don't look the same, and that's normal. Still, Vivica's been holding it down. Her figure has stayed solid, and she's always carried herself like a queen. So when she popped out recently with that freshly snatched body, yeah, we were all shook. She debuted the new look at a meet and greet down in Houston where she was promoting her hair brand. And the moment she stepped out, the internet went crazy. Folks were not ready to see someone in their 60s pulling up with a full BBL transformation like that. Now, yeah, sure, some older women do get cosmetic work done here and there, but Vivica doing it this bold, this loud at her age, that's a whole different level. Now, sure, a little nip here, a little tuck there, that's pretty normal, especially as folks get older. Maybe a facelift or some Botox, nothing too wild. But BBLs, that's a whole different ballgame. Most of the time, it's women in their 20s or 30s getting those done. So when Vivica showed up with hers at 60, yeah, the internet had thoughts. Fans were flooding the comments with takes like, I'm all for people doing whatever with their bodies, but she gotta chill. She already looked good for her age. She didn't need all that surgery. And another said, it's so dangerous. Our elders don't know how to age anymore. Always trying to stay 35. It's low-key embarrassing and risky for a woman pushing 60, don't you think? And of course, 50 Cent couldn't stay quiet. He jumped into the mess with a slick comment. Wait, let me see. At first, folks weren't sure if he was being shady or just curious. Then he followed up with, who said I was spinning the block? Man, I ain't gonna lie. That booty was good, though. I think so. Now that had everybody scratching their heads. Was he being playful? Flirty, even? Some fans were whispering that maybe he still had a soft spot for Vivica, maybe even thinking about rekindling the flame. But just when people thought maybe he was warming up, 50 switched up fast, right back to his usual trolling. Out of nowhere, he posted a video of Vivica where her body looked different than it did on Instagram. And to make it worse, he tacked on a screenshot of her IG pic at the end, just to highlight the difference. It felt like he was setting her up to get clowned, and folks definitely caught on. Let's keep it real. Vivica did look pretty different in that video compared to the flawless pics she dropped on Instagram. But come on now, almost every celeb out here is editing their photos to the max. Between filters, Facetune Fedora, and Photoshop, social media ain't reality. It's a whole illusion. And 50 Cent knew exactly what he was doing when he posted that clip next to her glammed up photo. He wanted the internet to start talking, and not in a flattering way. But Vivica, she's not the one to come for. Word on the street is she wasn't even shocked by 50's messy move. According to someone close to her, she knows 50's always been petty like this. She sees his little jabs as bitter and vindictive. And for what? No reason at all. And apparently, she's been warning that if he keeps pushing, she's ready to bring the drama right back to his doorstep. And if you know Vivica, then you know she doesn't bluff. These two are pure chaos when they clash. It's wild considering they've been broken up for over 2 decades, but somehow they always find time to sneak in a little shade, take shots, and stir up drama like it's 2003 all over again. Vivica's the one person who can match 50's energy blow for blow. Their whole history's been a ride. Falling in love, falling out, back in again, then straight to war. It all kicked off at the BET Awards in 2003, when 50 was completely caught off guard by her beauty.
You know, I want to thank Vivica Fox for wearing that dress, too.
Fast forward to the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards. Boom! Vivica and 50 showed up hand in hand, shutting down all the whispers and side-eye rumors. No more guessing, they made it crystal clear. They were official. Red, carpet royalty, and the world couldn't stop watching. This was their superstar era, and they were both on fire. 50 Cent was at the peak of his game, dropping Get Rich or Die Tryin' and pulling in a jaw-dropping 12 million sales worldwide. Meanwhile, Vivica was that girl in Hollywood. One hit after another. Independence Day, Set It Off, Soul Food, Two Can Play That Game, Kill Bill. The woman was unstoppable. Together, they were the ultimate power couple, dripping in success, fame, and attention. Vivica was falling harder for 50 every day, and he was treating her like royalty. They had people thinking they were real-life relationship goals, even if it was short-lived. Now here's where things get wild. Word is 50 was so into Vivica that he was planning to pop the question. Yeah, you heard that right. Allegedly, he was getting ready to propose with a 12-carat engagement ring for her birthday, right around the release of Kill Bill. But then, boom, everything flipped. He got mad at her over something, and just like that, the ring never happened. Instead of that massive diamond, she ended up with a basic pair of earrings. Like, really? Folks been asking ever since, is it true he swapped a 12-carat ring for earrings just because she made him mad?
For my birthday, he filled my entire house with my favorite flowers, which were Casablancas and gardenias. He's very romantic, and he's like a big teddy bear. Yeah. And see, I know that side of him, and he's very sweet and very kind and gives the best hugs.
Now let's talk about, he's 10 years younger than you are.
11.
11 years younger than you are. And you've said that energizes you.
Yeah, definitely makes me happy. Keeps a pep in my step for sure.
Was he in love with you?
Very much. I mean, I think that the reason why it's haunted me for such a long time is I found out later that he wanted to propose to me. So that's why.
Right, okay. So I'll set the stage. They were in Monte Carlo. 50's got the ring in his pocket.
No.
That's
he was going to have a theater because I was excluded in the international tour.
That's cold. Let's get into how this so-called love story went straight off a cliff. Because when it crumbled, it crashed hard. Like a house of cards in a wind tunnel, everything just collapsed. Privacy? Yeah, that was out the window from day one. These two were under the spotlight constantly. Every little move they made was plastered across headlines. And let's be real for a sec, that kind of pressure, it'll kill even the strongest relationship. But the real tea? That age gap wasn't just a number like people say. Vivica was in her late 30s, grown, seasoned, and focused. Meanwhile, 50 was still fresh at 27, with maturity levels that barely cleared the floor. It wasn't cute, it was chaotic.
Turn the 12-carat ring into a pair of earrings.
Yeah.
Then came the breaking point. 50 couldn't keep their relationship out the streets if his life depended on it. If there was a mic, a camera, or even someone within earshot, he was running his mouth. Private moments, he turned them into public drama. He was out here giving TMZ gold for free. And Vivica? She wasn't having it. She's a boss woman. She wasn't about to let her personal life become some messy reality show. But 50, he just couldn't help himself. No filter, no chill, and definitely no boundaries. So between no privacy, going public too quick, and 50's habit of putting all their business in the streets, this whole thing was doomed from the jump. The breakup hit fast and loud, like a firecracker on the 4th of July. So 50 started tripping, thinking his whole tough guy image was getting watered down just by being with Vivica. And instead of acting like a real man and dealing with his feelings, he dipped. But did he sit her down and talk it out like a grown adult? Nope. Vivica found out she was single by turning on the radio. Imagine waking up, flipping through stations, and boom! You hear your man dumped you live on air. That's straight up savage. And it gets worse, he didn't just break up with her, he straight ghosted her. No call, no text, no, we need to talk. Nothing. Just vanished into thin air like some kind of magic act. Left her blindsided and hurt? But 50 didn't stop there. Nah, he had to take it a step further. Instead of keeping things classy, he started running his mouth all over the place, telling the media all their business like it was his job. And the wildest part? He had the nerve to say Vivica was only with him for clout. That's wild considering Vivica already had her name shining in Hollywood before he even hit the charts. But once the heat from the spotlight got too hot, they just couldn't hold it together. The pressure, the headlines, the constant attention, it all got too real. But like we already know, Vivica ain't one to be played with. And 50, he was about to find that out the hard way. Vivica wasn't about to let 50 Cent drag her name through the dirt without clapping back. And hard! She wasn't here for the nonsense, and she definitely wasn't gonna let him score cheat points by painting her as some clout chaser. Not on her watch. So what did she do? She stood 10 toes down and fired back. Vivica made it loud and clear she was never with him for publicity, and she wasn't gonna sit back while he spread lies like he was doing a full media tour. Nope! She wasn't having it. She shut that down fast. Vivica let the world know she had her own spotlight long before 50 came along, and she wasn't about to let him tarnish her legacy just to keep his name buzzing. If he thought he could clown her and walk away clean, he picked the wrong one. But here's the kicker. Even after he broke things off, 50 stayed petty. Real petty. He couldn't help himself. He took shots at her in his music too. In his track, Get in My Car, he threw shade with lyrics like, my game mess with a chick brain till she thinks she wifey, spent her life savings in a day, cause she likes me. You, commitment from me? Nah, not likely. Went out Vivica, thought I was onto something, but next week, nah, man, it was nothing. Cold-blooded. He really put their personal drama on wax like it was just another bar, but Vivica wasn't about to stay quiet for long. 50 made it seem like he was never really serious about Vivica to begin with, like their whole relationship meant nothing. And just like that, he had her out here looking foolish in front of the entire world. The track cut deep, and Vivica didn't hold back. She called it straight up heartbreaking and humiliating, but 50 didn't stop there. Nope, he tried to come for her career too. When Vivica landed a role on Empire, he shaded her during an interview, blaming the show's ratings dip on what he called too much gay stuff. He said, there are 3 million fewer viewers watching Empire. Did you see it? We couldn't take all the extra gay stuff and celebrity stuff. That comment lit the internet on fire. Folks dragged him hard for it, and rightfully so. But instead of backing down, he doubled down and tried to spin it, saying, must be a slow news week. They're gonna say 50 said Empire lost viewers 'cause of too much gayish. All I said was cookie call me. But that kid's gonna mess up the show. Now everybody waiting for power. He even tried to make it rhyme. Like that made it better? But Vivica? She was not about to let that slide. She clapped back fast and fierce, hinting that 50 might have had a little something going on with Soulja Boy behind the scenes. And just like that, the internet exploded! 50 came back swinging, clapping at her hard like, oh no! But by then, the mess was already out in the open. Now 50 went way left when he clapped back saying, now she thinks I'm gay because I let her lick my A? Wait, I didn't even want her to. She forced me. My hands were tied. 50 Shades of Grey. What? That's the level of messy we're dealing with here. Vivica? She wasn't letting that fly. She fired back with a never-before-seen throwback photo of 50 wearing makeup, and the caption was pure heat. Tell you what, 50 Cent, since you keep telling that lie, I challenge you, let's both go on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live and put this to rest. That never happened, and you know it, Queen. Whew! And look, we could go all day talking about the back and forth between these two. It's been unprovoked shots, low blows, and years of chaos. Vivica definitely has her moments, but when it comes to 50 Cent, it's clear he's the one always starting it. And now he's back at it again, throwing shade about her BBL like it's high school gossip. Y'all already know 50's immaturity is what blew their whole relationship up in the first place. He wanted to keep that tough guy image, even if it meant ditching real love. And now, same story, different year. First, he compliments her new look, like he might spin the block. Then the second folks start saying he's still feeling her. Boom! He flips, posts that shady video of her body to get her dragged online. Corny. According to someone close to Vivica, she's had enough. She's telling him loud and clear, keep her name out his mouth, or she's coming with receipts. And listen, Vivica's one of the few who can actually go toe-to-toe with 50. And word is, she's still sitting on some serious dirt. So yeah, 50 better think twice before coming for BBL Vivica because this time she's not holding back. Now, tell me what you think. Did 50 take it way too far? Was Vivica right to snap back the way she did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear everything. And hey, before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. For real, if you made it this far, you know you're into the tea, so go ahead and subscribe. Like this video, share it with your people, and smash that bell so you don't miss the next messy saga. See you in the next one.
Any idea why the Big Meech concert is canceled?
50 said don't ask him about it. He wish everybody the best. He has nothing to do with it. He was the first one to post that quick.
50 Cent just dropped a bombshell. He finally spilled the truth about how much cash he had to cough up to shut down Big Meech's highly anticipated tour. And trust me, the price tag is so insane, it'll leave you speechless. For months, 50 kept things low-key, letting the whispers and speculation run wild. But now, we're getting the raw numbers straight from the source. And not only is the amount mind-blowing, but the reason behind it might just shock you even more. Let's rewind to the concert that never was. Big Meech's Welcome Back concert was supposed to be the ultimate celebration, marking his return after serving a 15-year sentence. The event was locked in for February 13th,